Alright everybody, I think it's time that we talk about the strength soft skill. Since its introduction to the game, the strength soft skill has been one of the most debated topics due to its powerful attributes. You can jump higher, run faster, hit harder, and throw further. Strength in combination with endurance can transform your character from not being able to leap over a small fence or run a short distance to jumping on somebody's head and dodging bullets like it's the Matrix. I, as well as many other players, have been fascinated about the Tarkov skill system and learning how skills work and the best way to go about leveling them. Say what you will about Escape from Tarkov, but it is currently listed as a survival RPG FPS game where skills do have an impact on your character's capabilities. To some, consciously leveling your skills by following fair, in-game mechanics is considered an exploit. Tarkov is the first RPG game that I've ever played where focusing on an in-game system that is designed to benefit your character's strengths while even providing elite perks incentives in doing so is considered cheating by a portion of the player base. Leveling skills while not breaking any in-game rules, using macros, glitches, or scripts is completely fair game. Those who fairly seek to understand the skill system and how it works should not be labeled as cheaters. If we didn't have players focusing on understanding the skill system and seeking out the most efficient ways to level these skills through fair in-game activities, you wouldn't be able to bring balance, adjustments, or commentary to help make this system the strongest it can be. To expand on my point, I'm going to provide some real examples of exploits in the game specifically for the strength system. Before I do not condone, recommend, or suggest any of these exploits. It simply has come to the point where I need to define what is and isn't cheating. Let's start off with some old ones. Holding a grenade in your hand while single clicking to gain infinite strength experience without having to throw the grenade was an exploit, and this was hotfixed a while ago. Using a hatchet to find an AI that is glitched out or a player and repeatedly smacking it in the face for strength experience is an exploit. Purposefully glitching yourself outside the map to fall through the floor to gain endurance and strength experience is an exploit. Using a mouse macro to jump while AFKing in your raid might not necessarily be an exploit. However, using any mouse macros in the game for any activity currently is against the rules. Now that you guys have some examples, let's talk about what isn't cheating. Wearing heavy gear or carrying heavy objects in your inventory. Buying grenades and throwing them in your raid. Although this is annoying and expensive, it is not an exploit. Kicking down doors is not an exploit. Now that we're clear on what is actually cheating and what isn't, we can better understand why the developers made the changes to the strength system in the first place. But let's talk about what happened this patch. For some reason, a dev decided to change the rate that players gain strength experience through jumping from 11 to 13 jumps per point to 1 jump per point. Now that you guys know the way that players have been exploiting the strength system through AFK macro jumping, you now understand how much of a problem this was. Why this was changed is still unknown to me, and I don't think the developers actually addressed the reason why they made this change. Last patch, players still used macros to AFK in their raids, but it took weeks, not hours. People cheated, but it wasn't as quickly and noticeable. Most players would flake out before they reached the end goal, and you didn't see that many people with high strength. For myself, I played raids while ensuring I was overweight every single time for 6 weeks before I reached level 51 strength. And remember, that is every single raid that I've played 7 days a week, 5 to 6 hours a day. No AFK jumping or any bullshit. In fact, barely any jumping at all. It was just overweight every raid, playing my raids normally. I think it was the fact that it took so long to complete using natural methods. is the reason why many players didn't really complain about it last patch. In fact, there's a lot of people complaining that it took too long. And I think the main reason why it's such an issue now is due to the fact that it's enabled cheaters to reach 51 strength very quickly. It's also allowed regular players following in-game rules and fair strategies to level their strength fast, and those who never leveled a skill in Tarkov also received very quick levels unknown to them. So with only a few days into the patch, you already had low-level hatchling players with 51 strength maneuvering around the map in mass, both due to cheating and legitimate gameplay. And that is the reason why strength was nerfed and why the character's strength stat was reset. Rightfully so, in my opinion. Last week, I suggested on my stream that removing the jumping point gain for the strength skill would actually be a good idea, only if the developers made a slight increase to the amount of points you gained while being overweight simply walking around. Right now, because the skill hasn't been adjusted, it's actually going to take over 300 overweight raid hours to reach maximum strength. This means that players who truly want to level their skills in legitimate means are never going to really get there before the next wipe. It also means that those that are already using actual cheating and exploits to level their skills are still going to get there anyway, possibly already. My recommendation is that the developers increase the rate that players receive strength points by a slight amount to reward players who are looting and carrying lots of gear, and also provide a fair path to skillers who want to follow the rules. I feel that maximum strength should be achieved in no less than 100 in-raid overweight hours, and the sweet spot would probably be 200 in-raid hours. They should also decrease the weight requirement to start receiving skill points. Instead of being 100% of your carry capacity, it should probably be around 60 to 75%. That way, more players will receive the benefits from strength slowly over long periods of time. With this change, the developers can reduce the benefits from strength attributes even more than they've already done. However, run speed is still unfortunately set to 100%, and this needs to be fixed. It should actually be 75%. These suggestions would make strength levels similar to endurance, which is gifted to all players slowly over long periods of time, and provide skillers a lengthy but rewarding path to 51 strength. There was also a suggestion that Kotton made during one of his streams and in my Twitch chat a few weeks ago that also hit the top of Reddit this week by user ApolloBliss that I think would solve a lot of problems. This idea ties the player's maximum soft skill level to their PMC's total level. This would put a barrier for people using exploits and glitches to power level their physical skills and force them to reach PMC level 51 before receiving elite perks and benefits. I don't really see any cons with this idea, and I would think it would bring a lot of balance to the game. Soft skills are an important part of Escape from Tarkov, and that's what makes the game so unique to other survival shooters. Tarkov is an RPG FPS game at its core, and people need to begin to accept that. Balance needs to be made with the soft skill system. It's not perfect and it has a long way to go, but without it, your sense of character progression would not be as strong and you would lose out on goals that would help give this game a sense of depth. So I'll end with this. The developers made the right decision nerfing strength's attributes and resetting the skill. They just forgot to balance the skill after removing its core point gain system. With a few minor tweaks, I feel the skill will finally be balanced for all players. Even if you disagree with my thoughts and opinions in this video, I do want to thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are new to my channel, consider subscribing and also sharing this around to your friends that are interested in this discussion. And also you can catch me live every single day starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys in Escape from Tarkov.